Hey, my name's Bill, and today we're going to be making oven bread. I've got a 5.5 quart Dutch oven here. Set that to the side. I've got an 8-inch parchment round put in the bottom of the Dutch oven. When cooking, you can cut one out of regular parchment paper, or you can just sprinkle a little bit of flour on the bottom of the pot and the pot when it's time to bake. I've got 3 tablespoons of Vital wheat gluten here. It's not necessary, but I do it just because it makes the bread a little bit better. I've got 2.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. If you're using regular table salt, use 2 teaspoons. So I'm going to add that. I want to mix it in just a little bit, get the salt dispersed. And then I've got 2 teaspoons of rapid rise yeast. I buy 2 bricks of this for less than $6 at Sam's Club. It's the best bargain you can find for instant yeast. My flour I get in 50-pound bags. I get in 50-pound bags at Costco, and I keep it in an airtight, watertight container. So I've got my Vital wheat gluten, I've got my kosher salt, I've got my rapid rise yeast. I'm going to add about 1/2 cup of olive tapenade to this. I buy it at Costco. It's fairly inexpensive. They generally have it seasonally though. So I'm going to mix this in with my whisk. I got started doing this by watching a video that Jenny Jones did. She's got a YouTube channel, Jenny Can Cook. And then I watched another video, a lady named Emma also did something similar to this, and I started making bread, and I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and I really love to do it. So I bought this tool on Amazon. You don't need this. You can use just the handle of a wooden spoon if you want, but it helps to mix things in. So after a while, I'll turn this over and use the handle to get it going. That does a pretty good job of getting it started. I keep a bowl of water on hand just to dip my fingers in it to keep my hands from sticking to the dough. You can give it a quick knead to finish it off. And that's it. I'm going to put a lid on this and let it sit for 30 minutes. In 30 minutes we're going to come back and give it a stretch. We'll do that 4 times and we'll bake it. So there you go. Timer is going off and I am here for my first stretch. Dip my hands in the water and stretch and fold, stretch and fold, stretch and fold, and I'm going to give it a little extra. That's all there is to our first stretch. I'm going to put the lid back on, and I'm going to throw a toothpick on the top of the lid just so that I know it's been one stretch. Sometimes after 2-3 stretches you can kind of lose track of time. There we go. We'll be back in another 30 minutes. Okay, the timer's going off and we're back for stretch number 2. Take the lid off. It's risen very nicely. Wet my hands. Give it a good stretch and fold. Stretch and fold. And a stretch and fold. If it's winter, if it's cold in your kitchen, you can simply let this rise in the oven with the light on. It should keep it warm enough. However, we're in the mid-70s here today. I think the counter is just fine. You put the lid back on and toss another toothpick on it. There we go. And we'll be back for the next stretch. And we're back for the third stretch. See how nicely it's risen? This is really, really easy to make. Now I'm just going to shape it a little bit. Put it back in. Got the lid. And we'll come back in 30 minutes for the fourth and final stretch. Okay, there's the timer, and we're here for the fourth and final stretch of our dough. Stretch and fold. Stretch and fold. And one more. All right, I'm going to give it a little bit of a shaping. I usually just fold it under until it forms a bit of a ball. And next time this comes out, we'll be putting it in the oven. So I'm going to start prepping my Dutch oven, and I'm going to put that in the oven, and I'll show you that here in just a moment. Now it's time to set the oven for 450 degrees. We're going to put our Dutch oven in. I've got a pizza stone. It helps the bottom crust bake, even though you don't have to have it, but it does help with it. So that's in the oven. We're going to set our timer for 20 minutes to give the dough a little more time to rise, and also to give the oven plenty of time to totally preheat up to 450. Alright, the 20 minutes is up, the oven is up to 450, the pan should be preheated. I'm going to put my parchment in the bottom. You can just sprinkle flour in the bottom if you'd like, that will work as well. I really like parchment because there's no mess. So I'm going to carefully pull the dough up with my wet hands. I'm going to lay the dough in. I'm going to sprinkle it with a little bit of flour. And then I usually just take a pair of kitchen shears and do a large snip in the middle and then two smaller snips. This is so much easier than using a blade. I tried that, and it just doesn't quite work out as well for me. My parchment's coming up a little bit. There we go. And let me give you a little better view of that. There we go. Lid on. We're going to set the timer for 30 minutes, and then we'll be back. Okay, the timer is going off, which means that it is time to take the lid off. We're going to leave it in for another 12 minutes. The house is starting to smell amazing. This is my favorite part, the big reveal. How can you not love that sight? That bread looks so good. I'm going to close the oven, sorry about that, and set the timer for 12 minutes longer. So we're going to bake for 12 minutes uncovered. I'm going to take this hot lid, put it on the back of the stove, and leave a pot holder on the top of it so that no one walks along and touches it by mistake. So we'll be back shortly. Alright, it's been 12 minutes, time for the big reveal. Here we go. Whew. That is hot. Check out that beauty. Pretty amazing. I'm going to put that on a rack. I'm going to let it cool for about 15 minutes or so, and then we're going to cut into it. Check it out. Okay, the bread is cooled, but it is still warm. Ugh, there is nothing like homemade bread. You know exactly when it was made, and exactly what went into it. This will keep for about a week, maybe a day or two longer. This is my my favorite part is the crust. I'm gonna split this in half, and we're gonna give it a taste. Check that out, isn't it beautiful? I know exactly where it came from. All right, here we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
To David and Greg. That is amazing.
So good.
One of the best things in life. Fresh homemade bread with butter.
Yummy.
It's still warm. Come here, buddy. You want in the picture? There we go.
Cheers.